You are listening to the It's Your Time podcast, and I'm your host, Certified Life Coach Michelle Arnold Burke. In today's episode, I'm discussing starting day one. Welcome to the It's Your Time podcast, the podcast where busy professionals like you get the practical solutions and support you need to gain control of your schedule so you can strive to be the best in your career, but without the stress and overwhelm. If you're looking to increase your energy and decrease your stress, you are in the right place. Hello. Welcome back to the podcast, friends. I have to say, it is great to be back chatting with you. We've had a number of interviews in the past couple of weeks, and I feel so fortunate that I had the opportunity to share all of those folks with you. But today, we are back, just you and I here talking. And today, what I want to talk about came from, you might be shocked to hear, a Peloton ride. And the theme was my day one. So today I want to talk to you about what day one can look like for you. And I have to say, it was just what the doctor ordered. I thought it would be important to bring it here and share it with you. So let's begin. What does this even mean? My day one. I want you to think about maybe a New Year's resolution. Where do you stand with it? We are way past the point of what is called Quitter's Day, which is based on research the second Friday in January, if you can even believe it, where people just give up on their goals. Or maybe for you, there's a goal that you've been meaning to start, but think, I'll do that when ... right? You have some sort of stipulation tied to it that holds you back. Or it can also look like a time when maybe you're telling yourself something like, you're off track, or you have fallen off the wagon. Side note, isn't it funny how we tell ourselves things like that? I fell off the wagon. There never is a wagon, right? It's just a point in the journey. And now we get moving. Maybe it might sound like I'm stuck. Interestingly, I've been reading this book, Hidden Potential by Adam Grant, and he talks about the idea of being stuck. He says, a plateau is not a cue that you've peaked. The plateaus are signals that it may be time to turn around and find a new route. Gaining momentum often involves backing up and navigating your way down a different road, even if it's not the one you initially intended to travel. Because progress doesn't happen in a straight line. It typically unfolds in loops. So my day one is today. That's your day one, also today. We decide that we don't have to wait for Monday to start the diet again, or we don't have to beat ourselves up that we haven't started the year off with a bang. Maybe we can give up the idea of thinking that we need to feel motivated in order to start taking action. Instead, today, we decide we are going to start. Here's the thing about motivation. Thinking you need motivation in order to accomplish your goals is probably one of the biggest life sucks out of us, and it really holds us back from making our dreams come true. You don't need to feel motivated. You are not going to find motivation. It doesn't fall from the sky. It's not hiding around the corner. What I suggest is that you need to feel determined or committed, and you need to start taking action. And from action, guess what? You start to build momentum, and then motivation follows. But I think what Adam Grant talks about in his book is so important because we need to take a pause to look at or reflect back on what it is we have done, right? When he talks about backing up and maybe choosing a different route, we need to take a look at okay, where are we? And what is it that we want to do to reignite that goal or the new habit? And most importantly, not shame or judge or tell yourself stories that no longer serve you along the way. So let me share an example here for you. Some of you may have heard me talk about it, or if you're part of my email community, you might have seen a note that I sent to you. And also, while I'm talking about that, if you're not on my list, please feel free to sign up. michelleburkecoaching.com/list. Every week I send a new idea or a motivational tool or a concept or any sort of thing that I think might help you out in that particular week. So michelleburkecoaching.com/list. It's free. Go check it out. So my example, as I reflect back over the past, let's say, month and a half to 2 months, it is clear to me it is not what I initially intended to set out for the year to start. I was closing out December thinking this year, 2024, was going to be amazing. It's my year of turning 50. I had so many ideas and plans. This was going to be my strongest year yet. And then my dad got sick. And from Christmas morning until he passed in early February, nothing was as I planned. Funny, right? How the universe every so often steps in to remind you who's in charge. It's very clear, right? And that might look different for you, but I know life happens, and I've talked to some of you who feel like things are off course. So I want you just to take the time to reflect back. And when I reflect back, I want to share one of the greatest things that I think I did, and I offer it to you. I am so thankful for this mindset work and the coaching because I was able to allow myself some grace along the way. I will be honest. I think I had perhaps the worst quarter of my entire career. I had to put some things that I love doing with my employee resource group that I co-chair on hold. I basically moved in with my sister for maybe the last week and a half to 2 weeks before my dad passed. And I didn't do my normal food prepping that I'm always posting about. I kept my minimal workouts going, very minimal. Of course, I did not want to give up my consistency of 256 weeks every single day doing something Peloton. So on some days, you know what? That was meditation. That was self-care. And I didn't shame myself the entire way. I didn't think everything should be different. I took the time to recognize and tell the story that, you know what? Daughters probably have one time in their lifetime that they actually see their dad take the last breath. And in that moment, those moments, that is what was important, spending time with family. So often, we do not check the integrity of our thoughts, and we tell ourselves things that we should be doing different, or we shouldn't have done it that way, or we should do it this way. Stop. Take the time to be intentional. Like, those thoughts may initially come up. And let me tell you, for sure, my initial reaction to numbers being down, things not getting done, did go there. But I have done enough of this work for enough time that I can reel it back in and tell a story that is way more serving. I had an amazing team that could take over, and I had the opportunity to spend that time with my family. So what is it that you are telling yourself as you go towards your goals and just simply every single day in your life? You get to decide to let those stories go that no longer serve you. Owning your life is the most important thing that you can do, and not having an extra layer of judgment around all of the things you did or didn't get done, that will free up so much energy and allow you to get moving in the direction of your dreams. I want you to think about something as simple as starting a diet. And you know, I am not a diet mentality kind of gal, but this is an example that is pretty universal, so I'm going to go ahead and use it. We say we're going to lose weight, and then we have a day or maybe a couple days where we quote unquote cheat. And then we tell ourselves, screw it. I already ate the box of Girl Scout cookies. I'll just finish out the weekend eating what I want, and then I'll start on Monday. No, we start today. And we reignite what it is that we want to accomplish. We start taking small actions every single day and get moving in the direction of achievement. And for those of you who are, let's say, all or nothing mentality, perhaps my perfectionistic pals, I want to offer you this. Making small, consistent steps is going to get you from point A to point B way faster than thinking that you need to make a massive shift. We accomplish our goals in the daily habits that we form. Not simply by focusing just on the results. We need to focus on the actions that we are taking, the person we are becoming, the things that we are doing every single day in order to get to those goals. And the actions will come from, you guessed it, your thinking. Thinking, maybe even questioning, what is the one thing that I can do today that will move the needle for me? That is an amazing question. Sometimes we like to ask ourselves, why can't I figure this out? Guess what? Your brain is going to give you all of the answers why you can't figure it out. Instead, shift that. What is the one thing I can do today that will move the needle for me? And Darren Hardy talks about this in his book, The Compound Effect. You can even just Google search him. He has a talk on it. He emphasizes the importance of taking 1% intervals of change and creating lasting change in your life. And I just want to jump back to the Peloton ride because Robin had a quote that I thought was so amazing. The magic you seek is living in the work you are avoiding. And I want to repeat that for you. The magic you seek is living in the work that you are avoiding. It's so true. Reflect back on this idea. Also, remember, awareness is key in figuring out how to get to your goals. But awareness without action is not going to light up your life. What are you avoiding doing and why? Why do you think it's not enough when you take small, consistent actions? Usually, we find that we're avoiding things because we don't want to fail or because we worry about what others will think, because, as I mentioned earlier, maybe we think we need to feel motivated. Isn't it funny? We don't want to fail, so we don't do the thing. And we basically fail in advance. We're afraid of what people will think or say about us, so we don't do the thing. And then we shame and judge ourselves about the fact that we're not doing quote unquote enough. Friends, our brains are crazy. We need to reel them in and be intentional. So we reflect back on where we've come. We let it go if it's not serving us. We reassess, reignite what we are setting out to do, and we take action. Small, focused action. Listen, I love the idea of dreaming big, but then we take deliberate, small steps consistently towards the specific goal in order to create the life that you most want. And when I say specific goal, I don't mean start a workout routine or lose weight or get finances in order. I mean, I will commit to doing weights 3 times a week and cardio 4. I will lose 4 pounds in the next 2 months. I will pay down debt on 1 credit card within the next 6 months. You need to focus your brain on a specific goal in order to take the actions. And one more thing before we close this out. Sometimes we set the goal and then tell ourselves, but I don't know how to do it. Do not allow your brain to tell you you don't know how. Guess what? Of course you don't know how. If you haven't done it before, you don't know how to do it, right? You have to figure it out. You start taking action and you learn and you move on. You take action again and you learn and you move on. And the more and more you repeat that, the closer you will get to your goal. So when you catch yourself in that story, I don't know how, just add a little word. Yet. I don't know how yet. But I am committed to figuring it out. And today is the day I get started. Today is day 1. Okay, friends, let's do this. I am working on the learning mindset of starting over today. It's going to be kind of a reignition of what it is that I want to accomplish this year. And I would love to hear from you. As always, please feel free to reach out on the socials at Michelle Burke Coaching. Or, like I mentioned, be sure to get on the list so that you have all of the most up-to-date information, michelleburkecoaching.com/list. Okay, friends, it's so good to be back. Thank you for being here. That's what I have for you today. Let's meet back here next week. But for now, make it a great day. Take care. Did you know you can take this work to a deeper level with me one-on-one? Go to michelleburkecoaching.com and click on Get Started to begin.